And a very good evening to you, and welcome to the turning point for ITN Sri Lanka. As we get closer and closer to D-Day or Election Day, we thought we'll bring in a variety of guests as we have been doing. And of course, this evening, we have a very special guest tonight at 10:30 on the same network on ITN Sri Lanka. For the turning point, we have the Honourable Ranil Wickremesinghe, also known as the President of Sri Lanka. So that's tonight at 10:30. But equally, every one of our guests is a very important person. My guest today is founder of a Sri Lankan brand, an all-owned Sri Lankan brand called G Flock. And he's Ranil Villadarage, who's the founder, the chairman and the CEO of that company. 10 years in this business and about 15 years of business in the industry. Rano, good evening. Thank you for coming here and to hopefully tell us what you're looking for to make your business grow.
Good evening, and thank you for having me. I would say, in simple, stability of the environment.
So you're looking for stability
of the environment.
Yeah.
The environment that will help us to grow and focus on our businesses more and more than thinking of other external issues that doesn't affect the business.
Right. So you're looking for stability. But then if you look at it 2 years ago, surely there was no stability then.
Exactly. Now, if I tell you about the day-to-day work that I had, as an entrepreneur 2 years ago.
2 years back.
2 years back, like a half a day, I was trying to, find dollars and begging dollars from the banks to buy fabrics for my business, and obviously, trying to find fuel to transport goods here and there. So it's just a half a day gone, and more than half a day gone, and in very limited time for us to focus on the business, which has so much of effect on our livelihood. And coming out of that was like amazing and such a relief. And thanks to that, I was focusing more on the business, and I started open up 3 shops during the last 2 years.
Oh, so you actually grew your business in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And so that is what you need for your business. And I suppose it must be the same across all businesses.
Exactly.
You need stability.
Exactly.
And you need the different inputs to be available.
Yeah.
If you're looking at the negatives or the challenges in an economy that is coming out of bankruptcy and trying to re-establish its international relationships and restart repaying its international debts, then how do you mix the high cost of interest, for example, and taxes? It's quite high. How do you balance the books?
It's quite challenging. I think I would say like this is one of the markets most difficult for entrepreneurs in the world. I mean, we not only this Aragalia problem. Before that, we had the Easter attack, and then COVID for everyone, and then we are coming out of all three back to back.
Yeah.
And obviously, the taxation and then high interest has issues balancing the books. But there are strategies that we use, like in terms of our product.
Yeah.
How do we come out of giving the same affordability, same quality of the product, but how do we lower our cost internally and externally, and even when we supply our fabrics, like where we could buy lower and maintaining the same quality. So we had to work a bit hard than before.
So in a way, tough business climate has also made you mean and lean.
Exactly. So it's So we are just searching for the little bit, even in on the grass, like even the little things that we have to pick up, and then.
Whilst I was talking to you, I thought that a good name for tonight's program, or the title for the subject, would be "No Time to Dream," because we are in this political environment right now, where everybody is giving various sort of undertakings. I'll do this and I'll do that, and she'll do this and he'll do that. and so on and so forth. But as an entrepreneur, and who's been through several challenges, like you said, back to back, we had three big challenges: COVID, Easter, and then the economic collapse. But as an entrepreneur, do you have time to dream?
Obviously, I'm living on my dream, and I live in it every day, and pushes myself into the small goals.
But you're dreaming about your goals, and
of course, obviously, and but from the country's perspective, I don't think this is time for youngsters to come and lay their dreams in the seat of the presidency, because what we need right now is we have somehow taken the economy into a somewhat stable situation, where we need to continue. The stability and the continuation are the key words right now for us to flourish as entrepreneurs. And inexperience and dreams, leadership and dreams are the bad words for me.
Is that a bad combination?
Bad combination.
So for us to grow, I mean, I know you've grown your business, but if we look at our whole country as a whole, we have a president who openly says we need to look outward. We've looked inward and it hasn't worked. We need to look outward. As a person who's actually serving the Sri Lankan market with plans to go out of the country and bring in the dollars and so on, what do you say about that? Do you think that's the way forward, to look outward?
That's the only way forward, as far as I could see. Obviously, tourism is there, but as you can see, it's how impermanent the tourism is. If there's a COVID or if there's any other issues or maybe a world war, like if you are to depend on tourism, it's a bit of a risk.
So actually, even during COVID, all the textile factories carried on.
Exactly. So it has become essential because we have been earning a lot from the garment industry, and for us to continue from the manufacturing industry to the branded industry is going to be the giant leap, which we are working right now. And taking a Sri Lankan brand into the world can be, taking a single brand into the world, right brand, to do it properly and take it to the world, and competing with brands like Zara, Mango, and H&M would definitely. That brand itself is enough to serve the problem, the solution.
Where did you get your confidence from to think big, think out of the box, like to compete with the big brands like Zara and Mango and so
on? Obviously, the garment industry that it was created in this country before, from 70s, the expertise that was created. The quality garments that we stitched and supplied to all these brands, and we created all these big brands like Nike, Marks and Spencer, and that's where the main confidence is, and that's where we are coming from. Like I started my career in the garment industry as a designer in Hyderabad, and we worked a lot, and we got this experience from working for these brands, and
you obviously got that experience through Hyderabad because they themselves had all these networks with the international brands.
And then, of course, when you look at the front end, the retail side of it, when you go and see the retail side of it, what you can see from the other brands are, the quality of the garment and the quality of the design, the quality of the fabric and the fit, all can be achieved here, and all can be done in a cheaper way. Because the most of the headquarters of these brands are located in these developed countries where the salaries are extremely high. So we have that advantage, supplying half the price but giving the same product, and definitely competing with those brands, and that's where the confidence coming from.
Are you quite confident that entrepreneurs like you and people who work for you directly, indirectly, and you in your business has inspired different types of involvements all throughout the industry. How confident are you that all of these people will be thinking on the same, singing from the same hymn sheet, if you like. That do they all understand that we need stability for anything to happen, really?
I'm sure they are if they are entrepreneurs. So that's exactly what we need, because we were suffocating without having the, issues around us. And it's really important for an entrepreneur to, when we work hard on something to get results. And obviously, there are challenges, but not the unpredictable ones where, you have, supply issues where the government has to take care of. That stability and that the supply has to be there in the society, and and the mental stability has to be there more than anything.
And Ronald, if I could ask, if we look at what happened in Bangladesh, unfortunate as it is,
very unfortunate.
What sort of negative impact will that have eventually on Bangladesh's textile industry?
I'm sure, just the way that we had at Daragale, I'm sure they had the same, because it's interruption of all the public services and transportation to whatnot, and so that obviously that has an effect on all the businesses. I'm sure, in the public sector, through private sector. I'm sure they are going through all those issues, with basic needs, and that affects the society, and that affects the businesses.
Thank you very much, Ranu from G-Flock. We're going for a quick break. Let's listen to what these messages are. We'll be back for the turning point for ITN Sri Lanka in a moment. Thank you.
බුද්ධිමත් ඇගේ තීරණය ප්‍රීමා ස්ටෙලා. අපි හැමෝම කැමති.
ශ්‍රී ලාංකීය කොණ්ඩෙටම සුවිශේෂී කුමාරිකා hair oil මේ හැම ස්වභාවික අමුද්‍රව්‍යකම පෝෂණය ඔබේ හිස කෙස්වලට ලබා දෙනවා.
සොබා ගුණයෙන් පෝෂණීය කෙස් කලඹකට කුමාරිකා hair oil.
Introducing Prima Kottami Korean Ramen.
Let's fire it up.
සුසින්ද සමක් විෂබීජවලින් ආරක්ෂාවක් සහ නැවුම් සුවඳක් Dettol Skincare.
නව best ever sunlight. පෙරටත් වඩා සුවඳක් සමගින් සුපිරි සේදුමක්.
Introducing Prima Kottami Korean Ramen.
Let's fire it up.
වීව එකතුණු උකුතේ එකක
රස උපරිමයි.
ලක්ස් කියන්නේ සබන් ගැටයක් විතරක් නෙවෙයි, සමට සත්කාරයක්. නව ලක්ස්.
ඔයා ෆියුචර් රෙඩි වෙන්න ඕන. ඒ වෙනුවෙන් මම හැමදාමත් ඔයත් එක්ක අවුරුදු 6ත් 11ත් අතර දරුවන් සඳහා වැදගත් පෝෂ්‍ය පදාර්ථ 24ක් අඩංගු සස්ටජන් ජූනියර්.
කමුද මචං ප්‍රීමා කොත්තුමි ෆන් තමයි.
ගුණ පරපුරක සහතිකය. ඇංකර්. සුසින්ද සමක් විෂබීජවලින් ආරක්ෂාවක් සහ නැවුම් සුවඳක් Dettol Skincare.
ප්‍රීමා කොත්තමි ෆන් තමයි.
ෆෙම්ස් ඇය ගැනන ඇය වැසහනය. ට්‍රයිටෙක් සහ කොටන් වර්ග දෙකම ඉහළ ප්‍රමිතියට දැන් දැරිය හැකි මිලකට. ඇය එක්ක ඇගේ ඇයවැය ප්‍රශ්න ඉවරයි.
එන්නේ දෙගිඩියාව. දිලිත්ගේ විශ්මිත අනාවැකිය. ඇප නැතිවුණු ඇල්පිටිය. ත්‍රස්ත බියෙන් ලොවම තැතිගත් 9/11. පාකිස්තානයටත් උච්ච දෙයක්. දෙස් විදෙස් පුවත් රැසක් සමගින් හමුවෙමු සවස 6:30 අපගේ ප්‍රධාන පුවත් විකාශය සමගින්.
And welcome back to the Turning Point for IT in Sri Lanka. I'm in conversation with Ranil Villadrage, who is the founder and the chairman and CEO of G-Flock, a Sri Lankan brand. Ranil, if you were to meet the president, whoever the president is, because in Sri Lanka we have an executive president who's all powerful, and if you were to say to him, I want, let's say 3 things to grow my business, what would those 3 things be?
I would say my business, and if I tell him about my perspective, keeping the stability of the market.
Right.
So whatever he did, to continue what he did.
Right.
And not to change the leadership, because right now, if I explain more,
Yeah.
right, if this is a disease situation,
Yeah.
like we need a doctor, and we can't change the doctor, we need to
So
continue
we're
the
in the
doctor.
ICU, we don't want to change the doctor.
We don't want to change the doctor.
So you want continuity.
Continuity.
Right.
That's number one. Obviously it's in our people's hand,
Yeah.
to vote for him and continue him.
Yeah.
And then obviously to improve. Then the issue we have right now is to give a solution for the dollar crisis, where we have economic issues coming out of it.
Yeah.
So obviously to improve the international export and the businesses, and then if there are any businesses that are willing to export, to give support them, and obviously I'll take my business out of the country, and with the support or without the support. Number 3, obviously creating a economic entrepreneur friendly environment, economic environment, and creating entrepreneurship, and whoever willing to get into new businesses, support them, and subsequently create new jobs.
So would you be looking at a government that will provide you stability of policy, who will encourage you to bring back your dollars into the country, and so that you can reuse it, of course.
Yeah.
But you'd want to have the confidence that you can actually use it.
Exactly.
And what about interest rate regime? Do you think that it must come down?
It must come down, and we understand that there are certain level of increment has to be done to run the economy. It's difficult, but at the same time we have to find solution by ourselves as entrepreneurs to increase our sales and balance out our books. And if we push ourselves with the stability of economy for the next couple of years, I'm sure we can bring down the interest rates.
This Theravada system of doing business, I suppose, Theravada commerce, is this just a label or is it workable?
It's workable. That's a kind of business model I'm practicing right now. Theravada business model is something that practices by our old kings, not by the entrepreneurs by 1,000 years ago. That's only for the betterment of the society, the humanity, which I think in modern day capitalism, most of the people are like cutting their necks and getting, it's all about ruthless game of money, where you don't earn any good deeds for your this life or next life. I mean, for us to have a life that live positively, according to whatever universal truth. It has to be give and take. So the entrepreneurs has to determine a selfless purpose towards the economy than themselves, and that's what entrepreneurs are. That's what entrepreneurs are. They are always they are the type of people who actually think of segment, betterment of a segment, and drive people and come up with a product or service. And it's always should be that you have become something to do something for the humanity than yourself. So that's a type of I think selflessness that has to be created. And if that's the policies that all the entrepreneurs determine in their businesses, money and fame brand values come as a byproduct. And that, I think that should be selflessness is all. Buddhism is all about selflessness. And that's, if that is practiced in entrepreneurship, and that will reflect on the consumer as well, because they are part of that selfless cycle, which I'm practicing right now, which is successful, and it gives you peace, and happiness. I'm sure it's you have to do your good deeds while you're doing a business, not at the retirement, right? And it has to be this movement.
It has to be ongoing,
and it has to be sustainable.
And so what you're saying is it should be not a dual track policy, but a multi-track policy. It's you have different things going on at the same time.
But it's connect to each other.
But it's all
connected to each other.
Right. So one's reliant on the other.
Exactly. And then
it's a bit like our constitution, actually, because we have the legislature, we have the executive presidency, and we have the judiciary.
That's what you call democracy, and then it hasn't served well for us. So that's exactly.
Maybe it has and it hasn't, because maybe it has because our tolerance levels. To be fair, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, when his office was surrounded and so on and so forth, as the executive president, I suppose he could have ordered people to shoot and so on, but he didn't, because he believed that democracy. But unfortunately, somewhere along the line, that tolerance level became a little bit too much, because we very nearly had our parliament overrun, and I think that's where, I don't know, from me as a journalist, I felt that was where the line was drawn.
What we have to see is why we came there. Because we divided as a nation. We had United National Party as our first party, and we divided into more than 40 to 60. Those are the repercussions of democracy. Like, everyone wanted to become a leader. Who doesn't, who was not qualified to become a leader, want to become a leader, and they divide. So and that that becomes that you have different forces and treasonous people. Like when a leadership runs the government, when you do something good for the people, it may not good for you, because sometimes you need to, as a leader, you have to take some harsh decisions for the betterment of people. But with the democracy, you have people on the other side, right? Who are like leeches, who trying to take the government for whatever the reasons, and they'll definitely they'll lead the public towards their advantage, while the leader, the government has taken some decision towards the people, and this division goes on and on. Because of this, none of the leaders who comes to power, right? They don't take these harsh decisions. Like for example, if they stop dal or milk powder, right, which is which so much of outflow for dollar outflow, what would happen? Like what would the opposition would say? Right? They'll take the government. So they don't want to lose the power. If they come to power, they won't take these harsh decisions. So that's part of the democracy, and which has led into this. And I think what we need right now is the one leader, that we have to choose one leader And for me, RW is that one leader, because when we were at the queues, we were not, there are UMPs are there, there's JPs are there, and there's Muslims and Buddhists, and the entire country was there in those queues. Yeah, queues, and we were suffocating. And he, as a leader, for all of us, he saved us. And if you can point out, we had issues. Of course, he's also responsible to with the crash. Yes, obviously we all responsible as Sri Lankans, because we voted really badly as well. So not only us, like the previous leaders, it goes up to 500 years when our invaders invaded us. Like all the kings who took wrong decisions has come to this. And then when the democracy started, how we voted as we were deceived by the leaders. So it's because of our selfishness we have come to that bankruptcy, and you can't point fingers with anyone and waste time.
You need to.
We need what matters is the person who saved us from there, and that's as Sri Lankans, I think we should. This is the time for us to rebound and revive, and choose one leader. And forget about all these politics which waste so much of time.
So no time to dream.
No time to dream. Obviously,
time
no time.
Only for action.
Time only for action and for stability for next 5 years, and then the dream will come for us.
And then the dream.
And then we'll push for a dream. I mean, any young leader can come afterwards and push for a dream. But what we need right now is stability for the economy.
Ranil Villadrige, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us. And there you have it. We had a young entrepreneur from Sri Lanka who wants stability and who says there's no time to dream, only time for action. And later this evening at 10:30, you can watch on ITN the President of Sri Lanka, Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe, on an exclusive interview for the Turning Point at ITN Sri Lanka. Don't miss that, will you? Take care and bless you all.
යයි යන්න කියන්නේ අපි තාසයි නළුවෙක් අඳුර ගන්න
පළවෙනි දවසේ ඇඩ් කරද්දි මම ඔයාලට බැන්නනේ. ඒක මම හිතේ තියාගෙන මේ වගේම පලි ගන්න ඇඩ් කරනවා කියලා ඔයා හිතන් ඉන්නවා කියලා.
උඹේ අර ලස්සන දස්ස නංගිලා ෆිල්ම් වලට දාලා කාරුණික අයියා වෙන්න පුළුවන්.
Wondering if you wouldn't mind transporting something for me. No questions asked. Why not? Have on delivery.
He never made a mistake until today.
What kind of state am I in?
Deep trouble.
You know what to do.